In this session, I am going to explain about Limitation Act 1963. As you all know, law of limitation basically prescribes limitation for filing suits, appeals and applications. Prior to 1963, the law of limitation in British India, 1871 Act, 1877 Act, thereafter 1908 Act, and after we got independence, several legislations have been passed, among which Limitation Act is also one, 1963 Act, which we have been following. Why limitation? A person is having a right, he can go and approach the court of law and file a suit and get his problem solved. But why should the state put certain period of limitation for filing, for enforcing those rights is the big question. It is because the prime reason for passing this legislation and putting a period of limitation is to create certainty over the rights of the parties. For example, a person occupies certain land and he continues in possession, but he may not get right to sell the property to other if there is no Article 64 and 65 of Limitation Act, which says that if a person occupies certain piece of land and continues it over a period of 12 years, his right will be perfected by way of adverse possession. So, to create rights. Similarly, a person purchases the property by way of a registered sale deed. Assume that there is no law of limitation. After a period of 10 or 20 years, his vendor files a suit for cancellation of the sale deed. What happens if the court feels that it is to be allowed and the court allows the decree for cancellation? The sale deed will be cancelled and subsequent transactions will be effected. Therefore, to create certainty over the rights of the parties over properties and to put an end to the litigation, it is in the interest of the state to put an end to the litigation. This law has been created. Friends, the nature of the law of limitation is a procedural law. Basically, it is a procedural law. As you all know, laws are various kinds: substantive law and procedural law, IPC, Specific Relief Act, Contract Act, Transfer of Property Act. These legislations are substantive laws because they define rights, confer rights to the parties, whereas CPC, CRPC and also Limitation Act are the procedural laws. Friends, one more important reason for law of limitation is, I'll give you one example. If a person A is owner of certain land, he executes a registered sale deed in favor of B. Right? This man again sell the property to C and so on and so forth. Likewise, several transactions have been taken place. And this original sale deed executed in the year 1990. This was executed in the year 1990. What happened in 2019? A files a suit for cancellation of the sale deed executed in favor of B. Assume that there is no law of limitation. I will explain what is the period of limitation for filing a suit for cancellation of a sale deed. There is no limitation at that time, assume for a moment. Then he filed a suit in the year 2019 on the ground that the sale deed executed in favor of B is tainted with force, fraud or whatever it may be as defined in the Contract Act. Several grounds have been taken by A in his pleadings by way of filing a suit against B. Now, what may be the probable defense B may take for contesting the suit? The defense is the contract is a genuine one, he paid the consideration and the sale deed has been executed and it has been attested by one or two witnesses. And A discharges some burden, thereafter the burden lies on B. So to say that the sale deed is validly executed, you need to examine the attestor. Mere marking of sale deed doesn't amount to proof of the said document. Therefore friends, he brings one witness into the witness box. Whether the witness who attested the sale deed in 1990 will be able to recollect what happened in 1990 in the year 2019. So the memory of witness may fade. So I have given the example of 1990 only. Litigation may come in respect of the documents in 1950, 1960. So had there been no limitation period for filing a suit for cancellation of this document, there is no meaning in giving the right. Therefore friends, law of limitation in its article 59 of the Limitation Act specifies 3 years period for filing a suit for cancellation of a document. Am I clear? So basically these are the two important points for the legislating the law of limitation. When it comes to the scheme of the act, it is a very small enactment having 32 provisions, mainly 32 provisions and a schedule. At the end of the act you would find a schedule. The schedule, it defines about, it consisting of 4 columns. The schedule is very important apart from that. So 32 sections. In this schedule there will be 4 columns. First column speaks about number of the article, article 1, 2, and second column speaks about description of the litigation, description of the proceeding, suit for mortgage, suit for recovery of money, suit for cancellation, suit for declaration. So second column speaks about description of the proceeding. Third column speaks about the period of limitation within which that suit or proceeding can be initiated, filed. So this is mentioned in third column. And friends, the fourth column is very important. What is the starting point of limitation? From which date the limitation starts to compute the period of limitation for filing suit, appeal or application. And friends, I am again saying it consisting of 4 columns. Column number 1 speaks about article, number of the article. Column number 2 speaks about description of the suit. Column number 3 speaks about period of limitation. This is period of limitation. And column number 4, time from which period begins to run. So starting point of the limitation. And again this schedule divided into three parts. One is suits, and the other is appeals, and third one is applications. Various suits. If you want to know about what are the various nature of the suits, you go to better Limitation Act schedule, you would find what are the various varieties of suits. Suits for mortgages, suits for cancellation, suits for recovery of possession, suits for recovery of money, suits for compensation, libel, slander, everything. And in the second part, second division consisting of appeals. Appeal from original decrees, appeal from appellate decrees, and also appeals from against acquittal, against conviction provided under Code of Criminal Procedure. So these are the third division is with regard to applications. During the proceeding of a suit, we may need to file various applications like Order 9, Rule 7, set aside the ex parte order, Order 9, Rule 13, setting aside the ex parte decree, bringing the LRs on record, Order 22 CPC, and set aside the abatement. So these are the various applications you need to file, and also execution application. So third division consisting of, it mentions about the period of limitation for filing applications. So suits, appeals and applications. Now there ends the matter. Limitation Act is over. No, it is not yet over. Limitation Act also speaks about various exclusions. Whether there are any concessions given, whether original cause of action extends or not. And what happens if the party is unable to file a suit within a period of limitation because of various disabilities, and what happens if a party fails to file an application within the prescribed period of limitation. And it also, section 2 also speaks about definitions. Certain important definitions are there, like good faith, period of limitation and prescribed period. All these will be explained in from section 2 to 32. And section 27 is also important, extinguishment of right. If a person fails to exercise his right within the time allowed by law, what happens to his right? Whether the third party, the other party who violated that right would get any right or not, like adverse possession. So all these things will be mentioned in Limitation Act in its sections 2